My question to you first is that why are we doing this interview in Dubai? Why are you here?
Thanks for having me. Now, I've been here from 2021 onwards, unlike what you might find in media. It's like I came here in 2021. I've been outside India from 2019 onwards. 2019 October is when I came out of India, first to take care of dad's treatment. And then I was focusing on international expansion, acquisitions and international expansion. So last 6 years I've been outside India. 21 September, came here, kids go to school here. And moved. We have always lived in a large joint family. Like there will always be 15, 18 people at home. First in my small village in Kannur, and then in Bangalore. And in 2021, all of us moved here. So then I was traveling to India as and when it's required. Prior to insolvency in July 2024, like 12 months, I was going there almost every month. I've been there 10 months 10 times in the 12 months prior to the insolvency, and I'm just waiting when I get the control back. And you could have noticed I'm not using the word if I get the control back. When I'll be back, and I'll be back, and will the company. One thing which the biggest misconception is Byju's has always remained an Indian company. Even when, if you remember the times when we started this. When we started scaling this, the tech-enabled model in 2013, 2014, all the startups that time, the early investors were pushing the companies to go out of India. I resisted that because I wanted to build this in India, from India to the world. So I don't understand why people talk about why I live in Dubai. Now, Dubai, I've been living here so this is nothing to do with there was a short-term inquiry by ED. It's got nothing to do with that.
But didn't you say that it's for your father's treatment that you came here?
Yes, that's how I came out in 2019 October, outside India. So initially I was in New York, and then COVID came. The only country which was open, which allowed me to travel everywhere, was Dubai. So we took this, and I continued the treatment for dad from Abu Dhabi, with an affiliated hospital where he was first treated, and I'm happy that he's doing, and he's recovering now.
So it's not, which many people say, that even in America, those who are against you and those who have put cases on you, they're saying you're like an international fugitive. Is that a correct term?
These are narratives which they have created, and in trying to take control of the company. Unfortunately, in a company which is built on the founder's name, or where the founder played an important role in the early years, they miss the fact that if you tarnish the founder's name, it'll have a huge impact in the company's valuation. So even they overplayed that game to such an extent that it hurt today that has hurt everyone, all stakeholders, investors, including themselves. So that's a game played wrong by a few vulture lenders who are based out of US, where they created this narrative that, in fact, this is exactly what was used to create prejudice in Indian courts by calling us fugitives, by calling us that me and my brother is having lookout notices. Now, we were freely traveling to India as and when required, keeping the Dubai as a base for international expansion. So these are all wrong narratives or fake narratives. There is no truth in this. The only truth here is the fact that there was an ED inquiry which was around the company, nothing personal over there. And that investigation is closed and it's at the adjudication stage.
So that lookout notice that ED has put out, that's no longer there?
I've been traveling to India, even after the ED inquiry started. Now, first of all, lookout notice, if ED puts out a lookout notice, they will never make that public because that defeats the purpose.
Okay.
So it's a wrong media narrative around the ED investigation. It was never personal. It was on the Think and Learn's transactions, which was, other than a few misses on the filing timelines, there was never a PMLA, there was never a charge sheet. There was a summons. I went and met. We cooperated. Investigation is closed. So the whole narrative was blown out of proportion.
So there's this parallels that people will draw. So you think it's a wrong thing because when that term comes, international fugitive, then Byju's name gets like Mehul Choksi. It's not. You're not that. That's what you're saying.
Our entire wealth, an entire company was built out of India. All our the wealth which we created was made in India, tax paid in India, invested back in India. We have nothing outside India. So this is created by a few vested interests. Now, if you see this fugitive word, they only use verbally.
Correct.
None of the filings, none of the court filings, none of the affidavits. You will never find any of this. So this is just part of a malicious media campaign.
Yeah, I went through the documents.
None of the documents will have this word.
Yeah, I saw that. It's a verbal thing, and it got picked up by the Indian media, one newspaper in particular. So they use that term, and that's why I asked you about it, whether there was any meat to that term. Let's come back to that Delaware case. You were accused of stealing 533 million, which was meant to be a loan. Now, the US court has found your company and its directors guilty of fraud. Then there is the ED notice. Now, tell me whether all this is a conspiracy, or is there a problem, a serious problem?
First of all, not a single dollar of that 1.2 billion loan. This is not the 500 million. It's a $1.2 billion loan, which we took in 2021 November to create growth in international markets, and was supposed to be repaid in 2026 November. So initially, from a good set of it was patient capital from a good set of lenders, but by creating this narrative, some of the aggressive hedge funds or the vulture lenders, as we call, they entered the loan and they forced an acceleration. And the actual reason, so all of this, so not a single dollar has come into any of our personal accounts. It's all used for legit business purposes. It's given in sworn affidavits across courts all over the world. And anybody can go and verify that. In fact, it's given by me, my brother, in terms of how that money is utilized. It's exactly the opposite. The story here is, we have made thousands of crores, and it's all again proof, you can see that.
We as in which company? Now the special purpose vehicle or Byju's India?
We have raised close to 5 billion in equity capital. In that, while giving exit to some of the early investors, even family, we have done secondaries and made a few thousand crores. The exact numbers, everything is there in the affidavit, which I'm happy to share with you and share with the whole world. But we have put those thousands of crores, which is my brother and Divya and all of them, have put all of that back in the company in the last 24 months. So this question of this, and how many founders and entrepreneurs during bad times put their entire wealth back in a struggling business. Now, we have done that only because there are three types of entrepreneurs. Like those who do it only for money, they run away when a crisis starts. The second type of the good entrepreneurs, they survive the crisis. Mission-driven entrepreneurs, you can call them crazy, you can call them stubborn in trying to save their mission. So you will, the world will soon see that why we did what we did. We have put, and that's why it's even with immense pressure from home, we have put the last 158 crores paid to BCCI. Half of that came from selling our only assets, only hard assets, our home and the plots in India. That's how we paid the last one. And this proof of all of this is given. If you go one level deeper in terms of all the filings, the only evidence which these lenders submitted in one US court is a napkin where the lender side advisor has written in his handwritten note that apparently I told that money is in a place which you can never find. That's the only evidence. Otherwise, these are all false allegations. Everything, we stole the money, we ran away with the money, all of that, they don't write anywhere. It's only in media. You look at all the complaints, and the only, even in the court, this thing, it's the only question is that Riju didn't do his fiduciary duty in disclosing all the details. But Riju was not having access to all of that. In the same court, I have submitted this few hundred pages of affidavit with entire detail to the last dollar in terms of how we spent not just that 500 million. You need to understand 500 million is on, in terms of how much money we have raised is only 10% of the total money we have raised. So, and we were creating a category at that point of time. Even today we have the fact that we have 250 million students coming to our platforms. It's still the largest online learning platform in the world.
You tweeted, and I quote, "I'm not a flower, I'm the fire that will shatter glass." The accusation is that EY's former resolution professional, he filed a police complaint accusing former insolvency officer Pankaj Agarwal of orchestrating what you term as a criminal conspiracy to sabotage Byju's. Now, tell me what happened with that glass trust, and there's this whistleblower now, obviously, and tell me about that whole thing, what he posted, how you're fighting that, and why do you call yourself the fire?
Just the jokes apart, obviously that's a movie dialogue, but
Pushpa.
Key part which I wanted to focus on here is, maybe I'll go back on how it all started, right?
Sure.
2021 November is when we were expanding from India to the world. We created a lot of products which is helping students in India learn on their own, where we heavily focused on love for learning and not, it was always learning driven by fear of exams. What we have been positively disrupting that in trying to reduce the pressure on students, in trying to create a segment of students who will learn because they want to learn. Learning driven by love for learning, right? I normally say putting the right amount of chocolate coating before we take them through the broccoli. Now, even when I was taking...
Broccoli? Yeah, that's what you mean?
Yeah, because it's, at the end of the day in education, it can't be about engagement, right?
Okay.
You need to create engagement so that it's big, and eventually you need to show results and it's effective, right? Now that segment what we have created, globally no one has been even today, no one has taken that place. That's why you look, search for any important concepts in math, science or anything under the sun, whether it's in India, whether it's in US, whether it's in UAE, anywhere, you will find, you will get your answers from Byju's. So what we have created with tens of thousands of employees. At its peak, we had 37,000 teachers. Most of them women teachers, those who were creating this or teaching from a small town in India. What the human side of this conspiracy is, and that's where I feel sad, because so many people for whom this was possibly their only job option available, because they can't move to a city, because a lot of people in India in small towns they're not allowed to move to a city and work from there. So what is the most saddening part is, and that's where I have to figure out a way to make up for it. I take responsibility for it, because though a lot of these things happen which are not in my control, because...
Which is that they lost their jobs and you had to let them go.
They lost their jobs, and not just that, till the company was in our control, for these frontline teachers, we were paying personally. Last 24 months prior to bankruptcy, from 2022 onwards, 2022 October is where these guys started disrupting the company. Some random lenders, it's like they were able to influence large institutions in India, including EY, and being able to do such a massive fraud, which I'm sure the truth will come out. If you ask me why am I still fighting, I know that I have nothing to hide. Anything which I'll tell in this session, now you can ask me anything. If you don't ask, I will ask myself. Anything which I'll tell here, I will show you proof. And this will go online. I am telling you, the whole world, come and challenge me. I'll put this outside.
Why do you think they did that? What is the reason? You're saying, you're calling them vultures. A vulture wants meat, it wants to feed. Did they just want to disrupt you? Did they want to take over? What is it that they wanted? Why?
Nothing personal. It's part of their business model, unfortunately. This is they get into the act during tough macro environment. So in 2021 November, so coming back is when we took this loan for growth. This was supposed to be repaid in 2026 November after 5 years. So we either used them for acquisitions or committed that for long-term growth, including branding like the FIFA World Cup or some of the R&D which we were doing in building devices. So we have committed that. So within a few months when they come back, not the lenders who gave us money, the other lenders started playing this conspiracy way back in 2022 October. So it's
why? That's what I'm asking you.
To take control of a company which is worth multiple $1 billion, whatever, and by spending a few hundred. So they didn't give us, these current lenders, they didn't give the company 1.2 billion loan. They created the
vehicle.
They created the fake narrative, and that created sell-off among the original lenders, and they bought this for 20, 25, 30 cents for a dollar. So they bought this for, let's say, on an average $300 million. And by taking control of a company which is worth multiple $1 billion at that point of time. Now, why did they tarnish my name? If you ask me, if you are objective about it, That's part of their business model. They act during that. So there was this 1-2 year window where the interest rates were going up. War started in Russia-Ukraine war started. So that's when these bad actors come into play. So like this is not the Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan of the world. So when people say US lenders, who's Glass?
Yeah, who's Glass?
Who's Glass? It's just a
It's
lender.
a trust, right?
It's a lender agent who claim to represent. Now why are they trying to parachute into our settlement with BCCI? Because that's the only way they can take control. Why are they manipulating the entire system? Claim on their own loan and get anything from court? Because there they have to first prove that they have the representation. They don't have the representation of 51% of the lenders. They only have 18% lender. Now these questions are not asked if you enter through someone else bankruptcy insolvency settlement.
But the judge obviously believed them.
No, this question has never been asked, because what has happened is, by creating this prejudice, by calling us fugitives. So BCCI, we paid 158 crores. So we should have been out of insolvency on that day of the settlement, which is July 31st, within 15 days of we getting into insolvency. Unfortunately, what happened is, after that last 8 months, whoever is in control, whether it's the IRP or then later RP, they have not even paid salaries. We were paying salaries, at least, like we had our own liquidity crunch and all that, but we were paying salaries to teachers. It was not disrupted. Services part, students were not disrupted at all. So if you ask me why are we still fighting for it, because I feel for the students and I feel for those employees.
Did you not sniff it out? I mean, besides you, your brother and your wife who are involved in this, there's also your de facto CFO, Anita Kishore. She's also been blamed. Didn't she not, as a CFO, didn't she see this happening?
See, in normally anything above the board, you are able to understand what's happening, right? Here, most of the things which happened, like in terms of how they entered the loan, these aggressive hedge funds, those things don't happen like the way you think. It all happened without we knowing.
She's also been named that she helped in
anyone who's, so that's the game. Not just Anita, anyone who's trying to support me, whether it's investors, whether it's founding partners, they've been personally targeting. Like it's very difficult for most people to understand this game. This is played in a way, it's a very dirty game. What they send people to our home. They threaten people. This is only
Where?
next to everywhere. Like they send people to management's home outside. They walk in, like some people sitting in US.
Threaten
just to neutralize, so that I don't get any support, so that I give up.
You're not giving up.
I am not going to give up till we win, because we have nothing to hide, and only because I want to prove that. See, at the end of the day, all of us know that
you're the third time
kind of because it's been 20 hours a day for 20 years for us, and I never started this for money. I come from a small village. I didn't start with this for anything. I started with a lot of passion, and the people I was able to attract. Some of my the company is built with first 300 employees, all were my students. So it's a strong mission-driven company. 4 out of the 6 founding partners are still there, because they know that facts will outlive fiction.